Ahihi vatsongo va ka hina hi maxaka hinkwenu i manyanga ndzi ta kombisa so ni rhandza ku khensa n'wina mi tshama kha mi vona mukandziyiso liyawa ni khensa na n'wina mi nga subscribe ni khensa na n'wina mi vonaka mi nga subscribe-angi ni tlhela ni mi kombela ku mi subscribe. So today I'm going to do a case of Amos Ngobeni. Amos Ngobeni i mujahana loyi a humaka a Zimbabwe. Vo tala xodi mi tshame mi ri twa vito leriwani ni endla as a Women's Day edition specifically for this day. So mujahana loyi u huma a Zimbabwe u tiye eSouth Africa hi lembe ra 2007 u fikele a Limpopo. So ntirho wa yena wa siku na siku ku ri ku lunghisana na magezi na ku aka. Loko a ta la South Africa ri na 20 years hi 2007 leswi vula ku u beburiwe hi 1987. So loko a fika la tikweni u fike a presentiwa hi chance ya ku a suka la Limpopo hi 2011 a ya tshama a KZN a Inata laha a nga fika a va notorious kona. So Oslewan loko yi fika le kusukisela lembe rero nga fika hi rona ra 2011 to 2016 ku vi na ti-confirmed rape cases ta 19 which he was convicted for. So I always say ku loko hi langutisa vanhu lava ti-serial rapists, serial killers, ku va ku ri na xilo lexi nga triggeraku va sungula swilo leswiwani. No one is born a rapist, no one is born a killer, no one is born anything evil. Ku fika ku va na xilo lexi xi fika ku xi va trigger. Ni kombela ku mi vuyisa ndzhaku. Ku na gang yo fana na Ted Bundy. If you listen to his interview, I think that on YouTube you can search Ted Bundy. Lexi xi nga endla ku ngwenya yi decide ku yi la ku va a serial killer and a rapist. It was because of his love for porn, hardcore porn. It pushed him that far. So I don't know ku ri na demonic xikarhi kumbe njhani, but his explanation kumbe swi yingisela it was his love for that. Ivi ku va na xiyisa lexiya swa le bank, the bank rampage swi ri yivisile lexi target ya xona vana va swi va dlayetela a swi va kha swi dlaya mostly ti-gay, because loko a ha kula u fiki a hlangana na munhu loyi a ri gay a nga n'wi molesta, vula ku munhu loyi a nga n'wi pfinya loko a ha ri ntsongo and a ri gay. Se swi va te leswiya swa ku vaviseka ka yena emotionally a tsundzuka na pain which he went through. A va vonaka ku vanhu hinkwavo lava nga gay va as evil as loyi a nga n'wi molesta. So all these serial killers and all these serial rapists ku na laha pain ya vona yi suka kona. Swin'wana ku va u nga ri pain swi fana na Ted Bundy, it was excitement. He had excitement of killing. So back to case ya Ngobeni. Ngobeni was described as munhu loyi from Nkaya Mozambique. He was quiet, a yi nga ri na mhaka na swona ngopfu swa vavasati and stuff like that. So how did he become a rapist? He had love for prostitution. That's what led him into all these incidences. But let's continue and look at this case as I know ku nyiketa background ya ku I cini xi nga endla muyisa loyiwani as a ava so. Because na loko ma cheka case ya kona later on ni ta mi hlamusela ku majority of the people who were victims of his raping traits a ku ri vanhu lava mi kuma ku va xavisa miri. And na ku tlhela ni vuya ka that's the reason why ni endli case leyi yi va ya namuntlha hi Women's Day, because I feel like maphorisa na van'wani vo tala who are in the security agencies if a prostitute is raped. So let's get, as I said, it wouldn't be fair for me go di ni hlamusela those 19 cases hinkwato video a yi ta teka na hour na hlamusela ku based on the court this case take place so and so and so and so. So I'm just gonna break down the most crucial parts or events which caught the media's attention, and actually which will leta tivava kumbexani leti nga relevant ni nga ti voni. So loko ngwenya yi fika le it happens it got associated with a lot of prostitutes. So lava he ended up being their pimp. Being a pimp means you protect them, they pay you, and you also lure customers for them, and they pay you. And specifically the reason why the take case lane lava ku va nta yi tisa ka n'wina hi ti 9 ta August is because there was a lot of conflict, like debate around this issue, whether you rape them or they didn't rape them, because you would sleep with those prostitutes which you was a pimp for without their consent, and they will report, and the police will take it as lied because what is like I need the wrong way. So I want us to discuss. I want to share my view before I proceed on what I think rape is. Rape it's when someone is when you have sexual intercourse with someone akakunyika consent angakupfumelelangi, or awakunyika consent then I withdraw. When these ladies are on the streets and you pay them, they give you consent to do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should force yourself on them. Once they withdraw their consent, it means you are technically raping them. Rape basically it's actually having a sexual intercourse with someone, whether it's male or female, without their consent, or at any stage manipulating them when you get the consent forcefully. And this is why it said majority of people who actually engaged in this thing or in sexual intercourse are technically rapists, because the chances you were told at the session could stop by a gun or him cheater, but then you continued. Technically you raped, but it comes back to the intention. What was your intention? No, because we're checking the intention. What was your intention? So you debate there, it was withdrawn in between the consent, but you continued. It can be debated, it can be discussed, but once it becomes a case of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, then your intention or your motive was that. So when you engage a pimp, so when he was a pimp, he would force himself in Kaka. That's why we didn't want to discuss majority of these cases, but majority of these cases come from people who force himself into, because he believed that because he was their pimp, etc., he had the right to do that without their consent, and without consent you are now raping. But let's continue. So his first case outside the pimping thing was when he went to this other house. Yifika ikuma ku ri na mkhegulu na ntukulu wakwe, and forced ntukulu, she was 15 years old, ku ahlubula. Then kamkhegulu ayilava mali, but it happens ku ntukulu atsutsuma. When he went for her, when he took her back to the house, because obviously he forced himself kantukulu namkhegulu, someone old enough to be his grandmother. So you now have to understand, even if you were to argue that maybe on these pimping cases, the chances he felt like he had the power, but once it does this to someone as young as 15, and mind you, okay, now South Africa, when no less than 15 years, when no less than 16 years, and I need consent. Statutory rape, whether you believe when you get the consent or not, statutory rape, because I believe at that age, and as a matimba could see what's happening, and you manipulated. So if in Kegulu, Avinya na national entire 15 years. This is where it caught a lot of media attention. But they didn't know who he was until when you continue, because in some these people have patterns. As I gave an example, Ananias Smart. You would a gun in this hand and a torch in this hand. So police have a profile. So this guy continued. Then you rape them. One of the kids who he because around KZN, the KZN, was so she was blamed for this rape. That's why report that rape, because there are a lot of things which come with it. The community might hear you and say, why so there was another young girl who was raped by this guy. Then she received a lot of backlash, and she only noticed to go and then went through the same thing. Got the victim that the man when they were in court. There are many people because that man, his only excuse was he was a pimp. So you would continue throughout these years, and you would do it majority to vana vatsongo, lavankulu ata va hembela ku namtirhi wants to offer them jobs, then to lure them to other places, and then you force himself into them. And this is what led to his arrest, because isungulu kutirhisa na identity yakwe. So they caught up to him and realized that, man, all these people they they're linked to one semen, same DNA, and then that's when he was arrested in 2016. He was arrested in 2016, and then it was prosecuted in 2017, 2018. La angakuma 109 years for the case is Toambana, because you have to understand, if mun ufika again akhome mkwana, maybe atlela a khoma vanhu lava hostage for an hour, i va tlhava va pfinya ku va ku nga ri case ya rape ntsena. They check throughout the whole process ku ta ri na mkwana, it's one va tiveka as attempted murder kumbexani intentions to kill, to harm. It's another case. Loko ri fika a va tshamisa maybe an hour laya a va pfalerile, va nga vi na access to freedom, va yi faka as kidnapping. Loko ri tlhava pfinya va eda yin'wanyani va ya rape. Loko a huma laya u teki mali or swin'wanyani va ta yi teka as robbery. Loko ri nghene fastere, loko ku ri nghene fastere va yi faka as burglary. So that's how cases munhu pfinya vanhu va 19 mara the case 50 something, but it is so he was convicted for 19 rape cases na ta burglary na swin'wanyana, and ti katsanga la ka 19 letiya ni katsi letiwa ta 19 because when was specific number because I think they don't think are relevant with another go door and raise an awareness. Once consent is withdrawn, you are now raping. Once consent is withdrawn, you're now raping. Even if nalokube unguniki wrong impression, you're gonna give her money after that. If you uchicha unge uniki and unconvince ku akunyiketa consent ku utota ngunyiketa mali. Loko nga ngunyiketa mali, it's rape. So I just wanted to raise this awareness of rape to Machita out there. Machita, you can find yourself behind bars for rape. Rape ayakukuma munhu exitarateni ntsena u fika u n'wi pfinya nkani. Your manipulations ku nwisa vanhu ya ndzala and then later on take them home, ku va tshembisa mali and then after you don't give them, na loko va fika va withdraw consent in between, you continue, forcefully continue. That's one of the cases. Yes, Java case as Java was because of that he was given consent, but later on it was withdrawn during the session. So it constitutes to rape. So, but I wanted to raise this awareness to you, Machita. Be careful. And got only live to me, Xitsonga. Yeah, don't force yourself to anyone because girls are becoming more aware of what actually is rape, what's technical rape, and stuff like that. Mkarhi yin'wanyani i lo pikiwa mfo, mkarhi yin'wanyani va lava ku onhela vutomi, mkarhi yin'wanyani u va u ri wrong ngopfu na wena. Swi lava rhanga u ti langutisa wena before you blame others. So all in all, I did this video to focus on a case ya Daman, but to relate to case ya Daman to the reality which is out here, the reality that is out there. Yaku I to see rape in. Well, and I would also, I don't want to sound like me, because of the complexness of rape cases, se vaya withdraw the case. Let the press against Machita because it's complicated and exhausting. That's why the rape victims total, they don't even report it. It's exhausting emotionally. If you were really raped and stuff like that, the pain that you endured during that session, it's nothing compared to what you're gonna endure. Logo so spona I'm sorry inquire you could tell this really happened. Or anything like that. So all I'm saying, let's all be careful. You're mostly targets of this thing. Avoid drinking the drinks talking at the TV. Avoid going out with people you don't know. Make sure you save it at all costs. So that's what I wanted to say, but I wanted to say it in a way you were in a case. So this case, our case, Amos Ngobeni is currently behind bars. Yeah. So look also subscribe and come subscribe. I might as well continue with the Tuesday and Friday thing. But if it fails, music case, l'entrada kuna yona. Yeah, like I Wednesday and then Friday it is. Shop.